promise is coming to pass, but you cannot try to make it happen on your own right now. Because if you do, you're going to delay the plan of God and it's not going to be as He planned for you. So I need you to watch this all the way through so you can hear what the Lord is saying about what He's about to do in your life. And if you're still watching even now, be encouraged, because I believe that God is about to come through mightily on your behalf, that everything He promised you, everything He showed you is about to come to pass in due season. But what you cannot do is what the enemy is trying to get you to do right now, which is to take things into your own hands. Even though you have the ability, even though there's opportunities coming to you that you can take into your own hand, but God is saying, hear His voice, wait patiently on Him. And the thing of it is, I believe that if you're watching this, that it is your time, it is your season, but you have to hear from God and use His strategy. So watch to the very end so you can hear what God is saying and then implement the plan to move forward in His way and not yours. There's a story in the Bible in 1 Samuel, the 20th chapter through about the 31st chapter, the last chapter of the book, pretty much is showing how Saul, King Saul, was coming after David, which we know that in 1 Samuel chapter 17, we know how David was anointed as king, how he went and slayed Goliath, and then from there on, it was about 13 to 17 years, a lot of people don't know, before David actually stepped into the kingship. But through those last 13 to 17 years, Saul was on him. Saul was trying to kill him multiple times, and the Bible declares in chapter 22, and I believe in chapter 26 as well, that David had multiple chances to slay Saul. But David did this thing that we have to do. Even though we have the opportunity to take things in our own hand, we have to do just as David did. Because many of us, if we haven't been brought the opportunity to take things in our own hand, there's about to be an opportunity that's presented to us to take things into our own hands. But we must be like David and do this thing in order to see the fruition and the fullness of what God has for us, and not to do some bare bones things of what we believe it should look like. So David had the opportunity in a cave at one point. I believe in chapter 22, Saul came into the cave. He didn't know David was hiding in it, and David had the opportunity. He was right behind him. He could have killed him, and he could have taken the kingship right then and there. But David did something that was so powerful that I believe God is speaking to you right now. Even though the opportunity was presented to him, I believe God was testing him. David wasn't supposed to take that opportunity, because David said this in my own words. He said, "Who am I to touch the anointed of God?" He said, "But it's going to have to happen in God's timing. God's going to have to do it." He said, "I dare not do this thing." And we have to have that same resolve right now to say, I am not going to try to force the hand of God. I'm not going to try to make things happen in my own strength. But I believe that God said that this thing was going to come to pass. I believe it's going to happen just as He said. I believe that He's able to do exceeding and abundantly above all I can ask or think. And the very thing that He promised me is coming to pass. But like David, we cannot reach out and try to do this thing by the sword or do this thing in our own might and own strength, even though there's opportunities. Just because the opportunity presents itself does not mean you have to take it. I'm here to hear me clearly, because there's some opportunities that have come your way. Maybe you're facing it right now, or maybe you're about to face it, where you can strong arm that thing and make it happen on your own. But the Lord is saying, will you trust Him? Will you trust His timing to not try to manipulate the situation? But if you believe Him and you trust Him, that it's going to happen not only in His timing and in the right way, but it's going to happen better than you could have ever imagined. There was another opportunity that David had a few chapters later, again, when Saul was asleep and he didn't know that David was in the area, and David and his men was right there, and the men around him, the men, even David's men that was following him, literally told him, he said, "We have the opportunity now, let's kill him." The people around him were encouraging David to kill him and to take the kingship into his own hand. But David had enough resolve and he had enough belief in God that he said, "I will not touch the king's anointed." He said, but Saul is going to have to either die on his own, or God's going to deliver him up in battle and he's going to die in battle. And we know in chapter 31, 5 chapters later, that that's what happened. But David had the resolve to say, I will not make this thing happen on my own, but I will trust the Lord that in His due season and due timing, that it'll happen just as He saw fit. So we've got to recognize, many of you are in a position right now where God has spoken something to you. He's given you a dream. He's given you a vision, and it doesn't look like what He said. David, when he was 13 to 17 years old, the Bible says that Samuel came and anointed him king of Israel, but it wasn't until about 13 years later when he took the crown. So David went back to the mountainside. David went back and served Saul for a period of time. And then for these last few years, he was running on the run from the same king that he had been serving, the same king that he was about to take the place of. And never did he do anything to put himself in that position. He was simply believing God, serving God to the fullest. And he found himself in a position where he was fearing for his own life, running from the very people that he was serving, running from the very thing that God said he would step into, right? But David did not do was that ever did he say, I'm sick and tired of this. I'm about to just do this thing. I'm about to kill Saul and step into this like God showed me. He did not do this, even though it didn't look like he said. Though in the midst of it not looking like he said, David trusted God. And what we see, if you go read those last 10, 11 verses of the first book of Samuel, so 1 Samuel 20 through about 31, you'll see that every time David had to make a decision, he sought the Lord. Every time something came up where he could have killed Saul, every time something came up where Saul was coming against, he sought the Lord, and the Lord told him exactly what to do. And he listened to the Lord and he acted on what the Lord said to do. So be encouraged right now. God, if you're still watching this video, God is saying everything that he promised you is coming to pass. It's coming to pass, and it's coming to pass sooner than later. But I need you to trust God, seek the Lord, hear his voice, and do not try to take things into your own hands right now. But seek him, continue moving forward, continue giving him praise in the midst of it, even when it doesn't look like it, and do what God said to do. But do not try to make this thing happen on your own, because if you do, not only are you going to delay yourself, but you very possibly find yourself in a situation that this is not the perfect will of God, but you'll find yourself in a permissive will where God is saying, because I love you, I'll allow this, but this isn't what I had fully planned for you, because the blessing of the Lord makes rich and he adds no sorrow. But if you try to strong arm yourself into something, you could get that thing, and the Lord said, I never ordained that for you, so you got to sustain the thing, right? So trust God. Everything that you're believing for is just up ahead. Trust his timing. He did not lie to you. If he said it, it is settled in stone. Just trust him and do not try to take it into your own hands. I pray, hey, if this encouraged you, can you just write in the chat that you're believing God, that you're standing on his word, and you're not going to take things into your own hands? It encourages me to know that God is encouraging y'all through me. So I thank the Lord. I'm just a byproduct of it as well. Go ahead and like this, share this with somebody that it may benefit as well. And then until we meet again, y'all keep simply believing God, trusting him, moving forward, patiently waiting on him to move and to bring everything to pass. Hey, God bless y'all. Until we meet again, y'all keep simply believing God.